Nightingale is a new open-world survival game set in the magical lands of the Fae. This game has everything from crafting and decorating to combat and survival, but with so many different aspects, it can be tough starting out, which is why I have 15 tips that I think everyone playing Nightingale needs to know. Let's jump right in. Okay, so starting from the top and character creation, I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this, but you do have presets that you have to choose before you create your character, and you're probably wondering why this is important. So let me explain. When you choose a preset, there are certain things about this preset you're not going to be able to change, and you may not notice this at first because if you haven't seen already, the character creation is very in-depth. You can change just about anything about your character that you want. It's amazing. But there are certain things, like for example, the lips, that can't really be changed. So let me show you an example. You can see with this character here, we have this little dip in the lip down here. If we come down to the mouth, you can see we have the option to change mouth shape. But the little dip down here, you can't change. These are the only options that we have right now. So if I go back to the preset at the top, and choose someone with a different lip, as you can see, this mouth style is very different. We can come back down here to mouth and mouth shape. And again, this is the shape of your mouth. It can't be changed, and it really depends on the presets you choose. So just be mindful of that when you're making your character. And also shout out to All Stuff in Games here on YouTube for making me aware of this little detail when you're in the character customization part of the game. Now, first thing, when you're going in between either realms or loading screens, you'll see this little tip bar down here. It looks like it's going to continue to change by itself, but it doesn't. So if you didn't know, you can actually click around and it should start to change your tips. So let me see, like right here. So if you click, it'll tell you all these different tips, and the tips are really useful. So make sure you're clicking through when you're waiting for things to load so that you can see some helpful and useful tips. All right, so starting out in the game, you may find yourself in this mode, which is first person mode. But if you're like me, you may not really enjoy first person mode, or it might make you nauseous. The good news is if you hit F5, it'll take you out of first person mode and take you into third person mode, which in my opinion is much better, just because I get nauseous, but I really like to be able to see my character too. But it's nice to have the option to go in and out of these modes if you want to. Now also you can hit F4 to toggle the no HUD mode, which is really nice if you like to take pictures. Or even if you like to just kind of run around in this mode while you're exploring, it's nice not to see all of the, stuff on the screen. So you can toggle the no HUD mode hitting F4. Now, staying on the topic of settings, if you come into your video settings, you can come down right here to the field of view area, and you have this option for third person field of view. You can turn this all the way down or bring it all the way up depending on how far in or out you like to see your character. So for example, I just turned it down. You can run around in this view with your character in third person, or if you decide to turn it all the way up, you can be further away from your character, which I like. I stay about in this range, and you can kind of see more of the world around you. So I think that's a really important setting to know. Make sure you check your settings and set your gameplay to exactly how you would like it to look. Now, when you're running around the world and you're trying to collect resources, you'll see that when these drops are on the ground, they have like a glow to them. And if you're doing what I did, which was picking them up individually, oh my gosh, it's so painful. Shout out to Nicole, who was helping me while I was streaming and let me know that if you hold the pickup button, you can just automatically grab everything that's within a range of your character, which makes things so incredibly easy. I mean, this is a tip. If you didn't know this, it is such an essential thing to know, especially when you're trying to build a base or anything like that. So make sure when you're running around, you hold the pickup button instead of just clicking it one by one to pick up everything around you. Okay, so after you exit the tutorial, you are able to pick a place to live. And when you start, you need to build yourself a base. If I could recommend anything to you guys, is please keep your bases simple. Don't try to go extravagant. You're going to waste a lot of time because you're going to get a lot of recipes and things that will help enhance your builds later on while you're playing through the game. So for right now, keep things very simple. But where you should really build your first base is close to these realmic transmuters, or if you choose to be close to the portal. If you're lucky, you could get them kind of close by in the same vicinity, meaning you could build a base kind of in the middle if you wanted to. But building your bases near these areas are so helpful, and I'll tell you why. So here we are at another base that I built. I don't know which one I'm going to keep.
Just FYI, they're not too far from each other, but this one is right next to the realmic transmitter. Like I was telling you, the realmic transmitter is important because as you collect cards while you're playing the game, these minor cards will help to enhance your gameplay. So for example, we can just take a look at the feast card. I can play this card to prolong the effects of a meal. Now, you'll know when you're starting out in the game, you are hungry almost 24/7. It just feels like you have to eat constantly. So this card is going to be super helpful to play. It applies to the entire realm and it helps to slow down how hungry you get. I also have this card here, which is a quarry card. This will increase stone yield, reduce the time needed to refine stone products, etc. So basically making gathering resources or working with resources easier for you. So the reason why you want to be close to this transmitter is because running back and forth, or let's just say you built your base all the way over here and you have to run all the way here to play these cards, or even to travel to a new realm, is going to be a pain. So I would say that you don't even need to build your base next to them, but build it close enough so it's not an inconvenience running back and forth to these places that you're going to be using really often. Now you also, which I'm not going to demonstrate, but you also can build into this structure. So if you wanted to just make your base built around the transmuter, you could definitely do that too. So right behind me, I have my respite, and the respites are important because it's your fast travel to get back and forth from your bases from wherever you are in the world. Now, what I want you to know about your respite is that it actually can be reassigned. So if you decide that you want to move your bases, because you can build pretty much anywhere in Nightingale, which is really nice, you may decide that you want to have a new home base. So here's how you do it. So here we are back at another base that I've made, and let's just say that this is the base I want to fast travel to. Instead, so I want to make this one my main base. I just come up and hold my right click button, and then I can choose to create the respite point here. So now when I go into my map and I click travel to respite, it'll take me right here to this base. So you don't have to actually break this down at your other bases or anything like that. You can just build a new one and use it to fast travel too. So now let's talk about essence. Essence is super important when you're starting out in the game, especially because it's basically the currency. So this is how you purchase new recipes, new tools, everything. I'll tell you exactly where to go to purchase all of those things in a second, but first let's talk about how you get essence. So essence can be found around the world when you're basically like farming for wood or mining or even fighting. However, you can also get it by breaking down unnecessary resources that you have in your inventory. So you can hit this extract button and it'll tell you how much essence dust that you can get. Now here's a tip, and this tip is so helpful, and I want to go ahead and shout out Tagback TV because I heard this tip from him. But what you can do is while you're out running around, you see these little rocks here. You can pick these up. They're going to be useful for crafting resources, but they also are going to be a big money maker early on. So basically you grab those rocks and you come over here to your simple workbench. So in here you can see we can make simple rock marbles. Now if I just add the rocks in, one of these rocks makes 20 of these marbles that we're going to get. So let me go ahead and add, I'm going to make 5, which gives me 100 of these simple rock marbles we can craft. Okay, so all of the marbles have been made. I can collect them, and if I come into my inventory, you can see a set of 8 right now. I have 80 total of these rock marbles. If I choose to extract them, I can get 160 essence dust in just that short amount of time. So again, this is an excellent tip and it's super helpful. So shout out to Tagback TV for this amazing tip. All right, so now that we're on the topic of essence, I mentioned earlier in Essence Trader, if you look on your map, you can find like a little cluster of icons here. You want to look for the antiquarian site of power because that's usually where the Essence Trader is, but you'll also see this little ticket icon that labels where your Essence Trader is as well. So let's head in that direction so I can show you what all you can do over here. All right, so you can see right up ahead in the distance, this is the Antiquarium Site of Power. This is what this one looks like in my realm, at least. I don't know if they look different in other realms, but you can run up here and you should come around on either side and you'll be able to find a couple of people, but specifically the Essence Trader. So mine is right here. And if you run up, we can go talk to him and see what he has for us to purchase. So this is Lonnie, the Essence Trader, and as you come in, you can see we have all kinds of different things, simple items, realm cards, lights, buildings, crafting, you name it, it's here. And I know we'll get more recipes or more in-depth recipes as time goes on. But if you're looking for new ways to decorate your house, or if you need new tools, you definitely want to come here and make sure you purchase them from the Essence Trader. So you can see that there are different types of currency. I only have the basic essence right now, but I'm sure these essences we'll find later on in the game. But as you can see, I've already purchased a number of things. But again, these are really helpful. You can buy the cards here. So the angler card will help to improve fishing and yield from fishing. You can buy new lights like the chandeliers. So it's really important to have as much essence as possible, especially early game, because you're going to want to buy all of these recipes. Like I really need to buy this maul, for example, the simple hammer. Now this brings me to my next tip, which is get the simple climbing picks and your umbrella as quickly as possible. These things are going to help you to explore the world, which is very difficult. If you don't have them, your climbing picks will help you to navigate cliff sides and things like that, and your umbrella will help you to kind of jump and fly across openings, landings, or however you want to use it. But these two are essential for traversing through your realm and everything like that. So make sure you get these recipes as early as possible to make your life a little bit easier. Now, while you're at your Essence Trader, you're going to want to pick up a recruit as soon as possible. This is why I say it's so important to get over to your Essence Trader basically as early in the game as possible. Maybe even as soon as you land in your realm, you should head over here because, oh, okay, excuse me, Otto. You can recruit a helper that basically runs around with you and will help you do everything you need to in the game. So I recruited Otto, who was here. I think they're randomly generated, so yours may look different. Now, to get your recruiter, you are going to have to do like a little mini quest, which mine was to help him build this little area here. So I had to build up these sleeping bags and also this campfire. But again, your recruiter is like an extra backpack. So all the times where you get weighed down, so for example, you can see I can't really move at all. This is going to be helpful when you're out mining rocks or gathering wood to build a base. You can add all of your equipment that you don't want to carry into your recruiter's backpack. They do have a capacity. Mine is at 20. But they can hold a lot of weight. So it's going to be really helpful that you have a recruiter with you for that. Now your recruiter will also help you to build. So if I just place down a little foundation here, Otto has all of the wood in his inventory. He should run over and just add all of the resources that is needed. So as you can see, he didn't have the sticks and the plant fiber, but he added all of the wood that it needed. So whatever's in their inventory, they will add to the structures that you're building and help you to build up your base or whatever you're building around the world. Now, I probably shouldn't be doing this in a hailstorm, but your recruiter will also help you to fight. So if I'm out here fighting, Otto should also kind of jump in. As long as he has something to fight with equipped, he can help you fight all the different creatures in the world that you may run into. Now, also, while you're out exploring the world, you're going to come across these sites here. I'm not exactly sure what they're called, but they seem kind of like worshiping sites or memorial sites. These sites usually have a lot of really helpful resources. So make sure you look around for these Fae chests. They have lots of helpful like potions and cards in them. You can also find snacks sitting on these little pedestals, which I don't know how sanitary that is, but they are helpful when you need food in a bind. So you can go ahead and pick those up. And you can see I have another weighted card here. These are the cards that I mentioned earlier that you can use at the Realmic transmuters. So make sure you're looking around at these sites and collecting up all of the resources in those chests. Now let's talk about building. Save yourself some heartache with the tips I'm about to share with you about building right now, because when I tell you this made me nauseous, oh my gosh, like made me sick to my stomach, ill with how I was doing everything so wrong. So let's just say that I place these objects down. We're going to place 2 of these down for an example. Now I can go up to this and add all the resources that it needs, and you can see one built and one didn't, which is perfect for the example that I'm about to share with you. So for this one, that's a blueprint. Just so you guys know, you can build blueprints anywhere in the world and you can leave them as long as you want. So you don't ever have to break them down. If you want to come back and build at a later date or at a later time, you can do that. But if you do want to remove a blueprint that you've placed down, you can hold down right click and just hit deconstruct. Now here's the issue that I ran into, and I don't know if this was known or not, but I figured I'd share it because I was doing it wrong for like the first 5 hours of my gameplay. So once this was built, I was thinking there was no way to deconstruct it other than using a tool to break it down like this. You can see there's like a little health bar. That was totally wrong. If you hit X on your keyboard, you can see that there are options to move, remove, or copy. This is super helpful because if I hit Q to copy, I can easily just copy something that I'm building. I can also pick up or move anything that's already built, not structures, but you can choose to move little objects like, for example, this storage chest that I have here. I could just choose to move it somewhere like that very easily, which I love when it comes to like designing and decorating. And you also can choose to remove, which is V. So you can hold V to delete the structure or something very easily, and then you can pick up all of your resources. So please do not use your tool to break down any structures or anything. Just hit V. Just hit X and V to enter that build mode that I had no idea was there. Hopefully that saves some of you guys some heartache. If you do have the pet dachshund from the Twitch drops, you can interact with them, like pet them a couple of times, and you'll actually get a little essence dust for that, which is nice. So it's just another little thing I wanted you guys to know. So make sure you're petting your little dachshund every day. You know, they need love. Okay, now let's talk about buffs. You can see down in the left-hand corner, right above my health bar, you can see there's a little buff right there. So if I go into inventory mode and hover over it, you can see that it says I'm relaxed. This is from me sleeping well. Your rate of stamina and health regeneration are increased. So over time, you'll probably see a lot more buffs here, but right now I have that one. You can also have buffs such as a sprained ankle or a broken leg, which will affect how fast you can run or if you can jump or dodge. You can see from me being in the water, I now have a negative buff, which is highlighted in red. Your rate of stamina regeneration is drastically reduced. So if you're seeing your character doing something like running slower or, you know, just has some weird effect, it might be because there's a buff applied that you want to try to fix. Some buffs can be fixed using potions. There are other buffs like this broken leg injury buff, where I just jumped off a cliff to demonstrate this for you, that lasts a lot longer. And with this broken leg buff, for example, I can't run at all. This is about as fast as I can move. I think buffs are fun because they keep the survival game feeling very realistic, and I like that different environments can affect the different buffs that you have. But again, just be mindful of the buffs that are active on your character. They'll be important as you move throughout the game. So that's all the tips that I have for you today. If you learned something new or found this video helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it with a friend who's also starting out in Nightingale and enjoying the game. I also will be live streaming Nightingale on my channel, so if you see me live, go ahead and click in, join the live stream and hang out. It's a good time. I'd love to see you there. Thank you so much for watching the video, and until next time, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace!